the fact that you make X dollars, income and wealth are not the same. So, whenever I hear, oh, this is the wealthiest state, no, it's the highest income state. It's not the wealthiest state. I know a lot of people who make an extraordinary amount of money and can't put two nickels together. And I know other people who have what by all effects is a modest salary or modest compensation and have built significant nest eggs. And so I think more of it's behavior and psychology than just math.
Welcome to Always and Never About the Money. Are you ready to embark on a journey that will forever change the way you perceive money? Well, get ready because we're about to dive deep into the fascinating world of finances and human behavior. I'm your host, Chelsea Williams and Money Whisperer. I'm here to help you realize what your money story is telling you and how you can change it. But hold on tight, because this is not the dull black and white talk about money. We're going to splash all the color into this typical nap-inducing conversation. On Always and Never About the Money, we're going to explore the intricate relationship between money and our daily lives. From the impact history has left on us and how we still manage it, how your habits shape your money, and what beliefs are driving your habits, choices, and relationships, to the deeper values and emotions we've come to attach to it. We're going to unravel it all. Through insightful conversation and personal anecdotes, we'll bring you the expert insights, real-life stories, and meaningful thought-provoking ideas that will inspire you, educate you, and initiate some serious perspective change when it comes to your money. Remember, money is just a tool. Together, we'll untangle the web of emotions, beliefs, and values we've come to attach to it and find a new perspective on how it can enhance our lives. So whether you're looking for motivation, practical advice, or a good laugh, Always and Never About the Money's got you covered. Thank you for joining us in this transformative journey. Get ready to challenge your beliefs and embark on a financial exploration like no other. Without further ado, let's kick off the episode of Always and Never About the Money. Hey, welcome back to Always and Never About Money, the podcast where we dissect your finances like it's family Thanksgiving dinner. Awkward, emotional, and weirdly revealing. Today's guest, just a guy who's been doing financial planning longer than some of y'all have been alive. Eric Brotman has been in this game for 32 years and has somehow managed to build a company, train up future advisors, avoid becoming a dinosaur, and step down as CEO without a midlife crisis, or at least not a visible one. In this episode, we dive into the real evolution of financial planning. And spoiler, commissions might be the ex you shouldn't get back with. Or maybe not. Why retirement is a dumb word, and how shame is silently ruining your relationship with money. So if you've ever felt financially embarrassed, overwhelmed by retirement talk, or convinced your neighbor's Tesla means they're rich, it doesn't, then buckle up. This one's a mix of straight truth, dry wit, and a whole lot of, damn, I needed to hear that. Let's get into it. Let's kick it off. Tell us in your own words what it is you do, how you came to do it, and why you love it.
Well, I've been doing financial planning and wealth management for families for 32 years, which is hard to believe because I remember being the young, precocious one in the room, and now I'm the old, seasoned veteran fella in the room. I've really been helping folks not only navigate financial decisions, but navigate the decisions that mean more than money, the qualitative things, parts of their lives that where you can really touch someone's life, their family, their loved ones, their philanthropy, and there's so many different ways to make an impact. So that's what I've been doing, and started this company now 22 years ago, and have grown it to 21 people and 10 financial advisors, and I'm really training younger financial advisors how to be great and how not to be transactional and how to be really good relationship managers and listeners and advocates. And so my role is changing. The timing for this show couldn't be better because I'm stepping down as CEO January 1st and will be in a growth role. My role is changing after all these years. It's like having my first new job since I was 21, which is kind of cool. And so that what I love about what I do is I get to change lives. I get to impact lives every day, whether it's the lives of the people who work with me here, whether it's the lives of families we represent or their loved ones or their interests that, it's like Kevin Bacon. There's 2-3 degrees of separation and everybody impacts lots of people. Also doing a lot of consulting with other financial advisors and helping teach them how to do some of the things that we've done, which means I also feel like I'm touching their clientele in a way that otherwise I would certainly not have. So, trying to change the conversation around retirement, around money, around all of the baggage that we carry from learning terrible lessons from our parents that we have to sort of break and figure out, and that we bring into a marriage or a partnership. So that's a long answer to it. Was a three-part question, in fairness, but I think what I love about it is impacting people so profoundly and so positively.
Yeah, I love that. And there's a few things that after what you said kind of sparked in me. So I know this, you know this, but I think that it would be beneficial for our listeners to hear this. The realm of financial planning has changed and evolved quite a bit. And so you have not only delegated yourself out of a position, which bravo, by the way, that's the goal, right? For business owners, we got to delegate our way out of a job.
Yeah, I try to make myself both indispensable and irrelevant at the same time, which is a weird conundrum.
It is an interesting balance, for
Yeah.
sure. But clearly, you've done something very right. Less than 5% of businesses make that 10-year mark. And so not only have you more than doubled that over, you've created this team in this environment where it continues to grow and evolve without you. So can
hmm
you tell us how has the landscape changed? What did it used to be? What is it now? What should listeners really look for in a financial advisor that maybe they thought they should, but has changed?
Well, I love your question because everything has changed and nothing has changed all at the same time, which sounds like some kind of poem or a song or something. But for all the ways that the industry has evolved, there are still a lot of, and I'm putting in quotes, advisors who have not evolved. And so there's still going to be a pendulum that needs to swing over the next 10 to 30 years, I think. The way that business has evolved is less transactional, less sales, less commissions, less hunt and eat what you kill, for lack of a more elegant term. There's much less solo practitioners who are sort of in this for themselves and competing with the guy or gal next to them. There's a lot less proprietary involvement, and by that I mean that the firms that used to control the information and manufacture the product and then push the product out to sell it. Fortunately, those days are, I think, numbered and going away, and I think consumers are getting savvy to that, and that's a win. The way in which the business has really changed is to be much more consultative. Most practitioners who are independent in one way or another, whether they've created their own registered investment advisory or they're working with one, the level of advice, not only has the education improved and the level of advice improved, but the economics of the relationship has improved. So that now you can actually pay someone for the advice and the advocacy and being on the same side of the table, rather than feeling like someone's coming in to do something to you. It's people doing things with and for you. And so that's more than just nuance. It's a big deal. And so, when I aimed to build this firm, I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be new school, so to speak. And so all of our advisors are salaried. None of them are paid for any transaction or commissions of any kind, or none of them are paid to essentially do business with a particular client or family. They're paid to do their job, which is to take great care and shepherd families through the process. And so client retention, client service, client experience is what it's really about. And by having a field of advisors that way, we all work together. We can all solve each other's, and solve each other's challenges, or talk about specific situations and not feel like there's competition in the room. There isn't.
And I like the way you put that. And so essentially, what has been kind of eliminated from the equation is a commission motivation for it's this motivating force through commission that is removed and where it invites a more collaborative approach to everything. And can you tell our listeners what is the relevance and should they be asking their people commission? How do you work? Like, how does
Mhm.
that play a part into the process from a consumer standpoint?
Well, let's start with the idea that a commission in and of itself an inducement to sell a product isn't by itself some form of evil. It has to be disclosed, it has to be understood. Some vehicles are priced in such a way that the commission is essentially baked into the purchase price, but there's no ongoing fee or cost on the long term. So I don't want to make it sound like one size fits all and fees are good and commissions are bad. It's not that binary. There are reasons why certain products are priced in certain ways, where certain solutions are priced in certain ways. So I don't think commission's a dirty word. I do think having a field force that is incented to sell product X that happens to be on the shelf of firm X, where they happen to get a W-2, to me is a major problem. But going out to the open universe and saying there are 50 options here we can look at. These are the two or three that we like, and here's why. And yes, they might be commissionable transactions, but let me explain why I think that's okay. And if you're comfortable with it, that's fine. So I'm not trying to paint commission-based advisors as bad people. They're not. They just have a conflict of interest that they must overcome to explain this is why something we're doing is absolutely in the best interest of those we represent. And it's a higher bar. It's a harder lift. So if you're being paid purely for advice and the advice can be implemented anywhere, that feels like the most objective conceivable situation. But if you can also implement the advice where you're getting it, then there's still some conflict there. There's a lot of psychology in this. For us to be able to say, here's a fee for a plan, we're going to do analysis, we're going to provide recommendations, and you can decide, do you want to implement all of these, some of these, none of these? Do you want to do some of them yourself and have us implement some for you? Do you want to do all of it yourself? And it allows people to pick and choose a little bit how much help they want. I liken it to the fact that any of us can go to Home Depot and buy all the stuff we need to build a house for ourselves. I assure you, if I built a house for you, you would not want to live in it. I don't have that skill set. I'm happy to try. I think it could be fun. But so you can go into a place like that and you can say, I need all the supplies, I need all the materials, I need the blueprint, I need to know how to do this, and I'm going to do it myself. Or to say, I need the blueprint, and then I'm going to need some help with this. I understand the plumbing, but not the electrical. I need some help with some of the facets of this, but some of them I can handle myself. And there's some cost savings in doing it that way sometimes. So I think really meeting families where they are and figuring out not only what is your acumen, how comfortable are you with these decisions, but also how much time do you have? Is this how you want to spend 3 hours with your spouse on a Sunday, or would you rather be doing something else?
And are you
You know,
actually going to do it?
That's a whole nother story. Yes, accountability still matters. And you can have accountability without having a firm like ours implement. In other words, if we did an annual physical exam financially, we did an annual series of strategy meetings, and you have to come to our office the next year or be on a Zoom with us 6 months later or a year later, and we can say, so how did that college plan get set up? Did you do it? And they go, uh-oh, we didn't, we forgot. Then that's there's shame involved, lots of shame, which is hard, but there's also another opportunity to either say, look, let us handle this for you, or here's how you do it, here's where you go, here's everything you need, and whichever way is fine.
Yeah. Let's dig into the psychology a little bit, because you mentioned the word shame, and I think that's one of the biggest words to describe what people feel when it comes to money in general. And
Yes.
then from where I'm sitting, there's this overarching intimidation when it
Hmm.
comes to planning for retirement, investing in retirement, talking about the different investment modalities that we have access to, learning about them, like you said, getting educated and picking which one. It seems
Hmm.
to be incredibly overwhelming. Like a lot of people I talk to are like, I don't even know where to begin. There's a lot of different things. I don't have time to learn this. So let's go into that route of the psychology behind it. And then also, is there a way to make it super simple for the first few steps of getting started?
I love your three-part questions because I have to remember what the first part was.
I'll
Uh,
remind
no, no, it's fine. In terms of shame, let's start with this premise that yes, there is so much psychological and behavioral baggage around money. Not only because of what we learned or didn't learn growing up. We didn't learn it in school. If we learned it at home, it might have been watching our parents fight about money or struggle with, can we afford this? Or it might have been such amplitude that money was like a joke and you were a trust baby. I mean, there's that whole piece here. People have incredible shame and discomfort and embarrassment around money, even people who have a lot of it.
you.
And that's so having shame about money, it's not just, I wish I had more. Sometimes it's, I'm embarrassed by how much I have. I don't want anyone to know. Like it feels heavy. There's a weight to it. And so unfortunately, until you can figure out what money is and what it does and why it's important, you're really missing the boat. If it's just a scoreboard, it's some numbers and at least one and maybe two commas and maybe three if you know those folks. But other than that, it's just a scoreboard. You don't take it with you. You can change the world with it. You can do a lot of good with it. You mentioned retirement. People hate the idea of retirement. First of all, you get your first job at 21 and they're like, what do you want to put in the retirement plan? You're like, retirement plan? I can't pay rent without three roommates. And I've got student loans. What are you, nuts? The word retire is outdated. It's one of the reasons why the writing and the speaking and the things that I try to communicate are that retirement's dreadful for you and no one should do it. We should all reach financial independence. We should graduate to the next level. And I know that's self-serving, but to me, that's the message. The message is let's keep growing and advancing. Let's never quit, disappear, and retreat. So the shame piece, we talked about the retirement piece, that to me is nomenclature. Let's stop talking about when we're going to quit when we're 21 or 23 or 33 because it's so esoteric. We don't know if we're going to live that long. We don't know if we're going to be married with six children or divorced three times. We don't know if we'll be healthy or not. We don't know if our parents will be alive. We don't know what the world's going to look like or where we'll be living or anything. It's impossible to know what we're going to be doing in 30 years, much less sometimes 30 months. So rather than planning that way and trying to have this linear mountain, like, oh, I need to reach this goal by this age and then I'm good, it's a moving target. Life changes. That to me is not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to figure out how to have a life of abundance. Now, you asked about simple. Can it be simple? Yes, I think it can, but it requires some heavy lifting to create the simplicity. In other words, it's kind of think about a universal remote. Have you ever had a universal remote that controls like seven things? Your TV and your stereo and all the stuff we used to have back in the day when it wasn't simple. And you had this one remote that made everything simple. But in order to make it simple, you had to hire people to program it and set it up and figure it out because it was a mess. And then once you got it, you're like, ooh, I hit this button and good things happen. So I think creating simplicity with finance requires a little bit of backstory, a little bit of work. Whether you do it yourself or whether you do it with some guidance is entirely up to you. But having the ability to simplify it, I am actively trying to simplify my own financial life so that my wife, should she outlive me, isn't grossly daunted by what would be in front of her. It's a lot. I'm trying to make it reasonably simple for anyone I leave behind, my wife, my child, my coworkers, all the folks. And just because I understand my own finances doesn't mean somebody walking in the door would understand them right away. And they're all unique. Chelsea, your financials are completely different than mine. I don't know why or how exactly. I just know they're completely different. And every single household is different. Every single family, every single individual. You show me two people who make the same amount of money, and I'll still show you this two completely different situations because one of them's in a high tax area and one's low. One's got four kids, one doesn't. One is healthy and loves to travel. The other is not and needs a lot of medical care. I mean, the fact that you make X dollars, income and wealth are not the same. So, whenever I hear, oh, this is the wealthiest state, no, it's the highest income state. It's not the wealthiest state. I know a lot of people who make an extraordinary amount of money and can't put two nickels together. And I know other people who have what by all effects is a modest salary or modest compensation and have built significant nest eggs. And so I think more of it's behavior and psychology than just math.
Ooh, I feel like you hit that on the head with that last statement.
I
And
can
I
drop the mic
agree.
if you want me
You
to. You want me
did.
to just drop the
Yeah,
mic
pull
for
it
you?
out and drop it, please.
No, I don't. No, I won't be able to pick it back up.
No, that was amazing. And what I really appreciate about what you said, and your motto is don't retire, graduate.
Yep.
And I couldn't agree more. I think part of the overwhelm is that retirement seems so far out,
Hmm.
right? So far down the road, so big, so overwhelming, so it's easy to put it off.
Hmm.
But with the idea of graduating, and keeping that simplicity in mind, it's really just about the next step. It's like,
Yep.
what step can I take now to just build onto this thing that we're now calling financial independence?
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And even when you graduate, because you even said, you're the guru of this, you do this for other people. Even you said, I am continually refining my
Yes.
own finances. It's not like we get to this place to where it's done and over with, it's set forever and always.
That's right.
It's a journey, it's a process. It always requires that we revisit it once a year, twice a year, somewhere in
Hmm.
that cadence.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. 100% because it's not linear. You can drive in a straight line, but it's hard to sail in a straight line. You tend to veer one way or the other. And so you need to reposition, re-navigate, and figure out, are we still headed the right place? And if so, how do we adjust our course now that we've been knocked off course by anything? And it could be good things or bad things. You could be knocked off course by a surprise windfall as much as you can by a surprise expense.
Yeah, and I think that's relieving. Like if I was listening to this and I was overwhelmed by this topic or how to do it, the fact that you're saying everybody's story is different. Number one. Number two, one person can bring in the same exact amount of money and it is not going to move the same, which
Right?
really drives home the point that each of our financial pictures is unique and all we need to worry about is our own. I think a lot of the psychology around money comes from comparing ourselves to other people's
Oh, yeah.
perceived stories.
Oh, yeah. Keeping up with the Joneses. Most of the Joneses are what they refer to in Texas as big hat, no cattle. They got a fancy car, but they might be living in it someday because they haven't built any real wealth. Truly.
Yeah, yes. And I think that's so important to bring to the forefront because it is so easy to look at somebody else and we're assuming all of the right things, right? Like we're assuming just because they have that fancy car and that nice house, that they have all this money in the bank and they're going to retire and they have no struggles. But like you said, everybody has struggles. And a lot of times, this is a facade. And so, keeping that in mind as a listener, like my
Mhm.
story cannot be compared to anybody else's at all. My story is my story. All I need to do is focus on mine and what are my next steps. And the journey never ends. I don't know about you, but I have never in my career heard somebody say, I started planning for retirement too soon, darn it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, me
No one ever
neither.
says that. No one
Yeah,
has ever said that. You're
ever
right.
in
I
the
mean,
history of ever.
or there's other people who just don't plan for it at all. I think you need to create. I've seen too many people who are so focused, laser focused on saving for retirement that they don't actually live. Because the pendulum can swing too far to where you're squirreling away every penny and you never take the trip and you never have the experience. And it's actually a form of mental illness. It's very sad. And then there's the other folks who blow every penny and hope for the best. But no, it's like a fable where one of them saves everything and the other one saves nothing, and somehow now they're supposed to share at the end. So,
And that's another good thing um, for people to really know and understand. There's two sides to this, right?
yeah,
And by focusing too much and prioritizing too much in investing for financial independence, you can create burnout,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
there's definitely a balance between enjoying today, being present in the moment, creating experiences for yourself, for the people that you love, and putting aside so that you can cultivate those experiences later in life.
Since you like simple, think about it this way: plan as if you might live forever, live as if you might die tonight. If you can figure out that balance to where you do take the trip, you do enjoy the dinner with your spouse or loved one, you do take work off early and go to your kid's soccer game because you know what? There's some more important things than that meeting, whatever it is. If you can do that while still keeping your eye on the ball long term, to me, that's winning the money game. However you define it, however you quantify it, to me, it's not about the number itself. It's about having the experiences. You mentioned you were talking about the Joneses and all of this stuff. If in a world of social media, Chelsea, we all look at and scroll through and yada yada, and everybody's life is perfect but ours. Everybody's living this Norman Rockwell experience, and my day is just ho hum, and it's because what we're putting out there is not real. it's a highlight reel, maybe. You put out there, I had the best meal of my life, not the six that caused food poisoning and you threw out the window. Like people are, we're inclined to tell the wins. People who gamble always talk about the one time they won, not the eight times they lost. So rather than trying to keep up with folks, just having your own plan. And by the way, on my show, to me, we don't use the B word. And since I'm already swearing on your show, the B word is budget. I'm not a big
I
believer
got
in
reprimanded
budgets.
on your podcast for saying that. I did.
Correct, and
Yeah.
rightly so. And don't let it happen again. Um, and the reason for that is that when you do that, budget to me is like a diet. Diet is not great. Nutrition, good idea. Diet, restrictive and horrible. Budgeting to me, as long as you've put away enough for that long-term game, how you spend the rest of it and what you do and how you enjoy it, don't let anybody judge you on that. You decide what's most important for you. So, no, to me, it's about paying yourself first. It's not about the B word. I'm not going to say it again.
Okay, fair enough. So I am a bee pusher to a certain extent. Now, I want to get into this real quick because you said this and because I like different perspectives, right? Let's hash
Okay?
this out and meet in the middle. Have
Yeah,
you ever heard of Profit First by Mike Michalowicz?
I have not. I'm familiar with paying yourself first, but not profit first. So enlighten me.
Yes. So for my people that I work with that hate the
Hmm.
B word, rightfully so, fairly so, fine, I can work with that, right?
Hmm.
What this cash management system does is it takes the old school envelope system. You know what that
Hmm.
is,
I do.
right? Okay.
I
And it
do.
turns, I do too. So I still
Yeah.
know what that is. But what it does is instead of envelopes with specific purposes, each dollar has a home in an envelope, we use bank accounts.
Hmm.
And once we go through and crunch the amounts for the different accounts and how much they're going to need by priority,
Hmm.
right? Then we set up automatic transfers. So all the money moves automatically. And then whatever's left is their bougie budget.
The bougie
It's like
budget.
the bougie budget. Yes, that's the
Ah.
bougie. Do whatever you want with it shamelessly. If this episode hit home and you're realizing your personal money equation is off, whether that's how much you make, keep, spend to save or invest, then I want you to do yourself a favor right now. I'm creating a personal finance program designed to help you rebalance your entire money equation. It's built on a proven framework that gets you grounded in your money right now without shame, spreadsheets, or burnout. I'll help you move past the ick of budgeting and into a system of boundaries that protect your future financial freedom while still giving you freedom within your spending today. If that sounds like what you've been needing, go to our website and join the email list. As soon as the program launches, you'll be the first to know. And trust me, you are going to want to be in the room for this.
Okay.
And
I'm comfortable with the envelopes, and yes, it's virtual now. It's bank accounts. The one thing you said, Chelsea, that I think is super important is that you automate it. It is really important. You talk about simplifying. It's really important to automate these things because otherwise we get busy or we wonder if it's a good time to do this and we torture ourselves. So automating it is really important, and I like that. I am not one of those people with 14 bank accounts for 14 purposes, but I have seen that, and I've seen it work really well for people who like that strategy.
yeah, yeah. And we typically do 5, not 14. Don't get overwhelmed.
Okay.
But but the idea of it is we look at the B word once, we figure out our amounts, we automate things,
Okay.
and then we review them periodically,
Do the
right?
5 accounts always get used the same way, or is it different per household, per family?
It can vary per family, especially if
Okay.
they have kids and we need a specific kid tracking account, right?
Got it.
Um, and again, like you said, it's all about the automation of it. We don't have to think about it except for every 3 months when we're going through and making sure it's moving how it should be.
Yeah, and with direct deposits today, it's possible to take a paycheck and have it divided into multiple accounts and have it cost you nothing, and it's automated in lots of ways. So yeah, for folks where that is helpful, I think it's great. There's no harm in it. There's no cost to it. Typically, there's no downside to it. It is more cumbersome when you start reconciling things, but other than that, Quicken can do that for you.
Yes. Yeah, I just want it on record that I got Eric to endorse a version of the B word on this record right here.
See, this has been heavily edited, and you can tell immediately. I'm just saying, yes, I did endorse your version. I did not use the B word again.
Okay. Yep, you're right. And I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm holding up with
All
you.
right. It's fair.
All right, so two more things. Two
Yes,
more things
ma'am.
I want to do with you. The first of which, I would like to know what are the three most common things that you see holding people back, whether it's technical, mindset,
Hmm.
psychology, any of the above, from starting,
Hmm.
or if they've already started, kind of refreshing it, right? They've been stagnant. What are the three biggest things holding people back from
Okay.
truly learning their financial independence strategy?
Well, the first one's inertia, because the most powerful universe, the most powerful field in the universe is inertia. If you haven't started, it's very tough to take that first step. People who are just learning to walk aren't training for their first marathon. Like it takes a while to get to different stages. So I think inertia in and of itself is a challenge. I think right in line with that is procrastination. People put things off thinking it's not a priority. Oh, I've got 40 years to worry about it. I've got 30. I have 20 years to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. And that's when you said nobody ever starts too soon. Then there's that feeling of it's too late to start now. I'm too close. I'm 50 years old. I can't start putting away money now. I'm done. And so some of it is the timing and procrastination. And then I think the third thing to me is head trash. This idea, and everyone's trash is different, but for some people it's shame about money. For some people it's thinking that they're not worthy of doing these various things. For some people don't think they have enough money to even plan. We've had a lot of people who said, "Oh, we didn't know we could even hire a financial advisor because we didn't think we had enough money." Well, what's enough money? There's money is relative. I quote philosophers in my book, and one of the ones I quoted was Chris Rock, who at one point said that if Bill Gates woke up tomorrow with Oprah's net worth, he'd want to jump out a window. And that to me is how wealth is relative. The rest of us would live just fine on Oprah's net worth, I suspect. So I would say there's head trash around it, and this idea that we don't have enough, or that we have so much it doesn't matter, or just bad mental thoughts.
Hmm. So I definitely want to give your book a shout out. And does your book go into that, the head trash, and what that might sound like, look like, where people
Somewhat. Can
can
I do a
go?
shameless plug? There's a pig.
Please.
There's a pig with a mortarboard. You don't see that every day.
I love this.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you see it. I see it every day. It's right here, but you don't see it every day.
Yeah. No, and we will
Yeah.
definitely put the link to that in the show notes. So,
That's great. Hey, look, for Chelsea, for your listeners, if you go to don'tretiregraduatebook.com and you enter always and never, all lowercase, always and never, you'll get a discount on the book
oh my
just for your
gosh.
listeners.
Listeners, did you hear that? We got a special discount. So go snatch that ASAP. Thank you.
There goes my financial plan. No, it's fine.
All right, the last part of this is really meant for fun. It's kind of like
Okay.
a spitfire. I'm going to say this or that, and you're going to tell us which one and why.
Why you need why? It can't just be okay, okay. I'm ready. I'm playing by
Very,
you.
very
It's your show,
succinct
your
why. Yes.
rules. Your show,
Ready?
your
Okay,
rules. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
here we go. Save or invest.
Invest. Oh, I have to say why.
That one's kind
Save
of
or invest.
self-explanatory for you.
I would say invest because saving by itself doesn't create enough growth to keep up with inflation. Saving's important, but once you've hit a small emergency fund, it's much better to invest for the long term, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Stagnant money should be making money.
Correct.
Early retirement or meaningful work forever.
Meaningful work forever. I mean, that's right in my wheelhouse. If you define retirement as the absence of needing to work and you're financially independent and you're 33 at the time, that's awesome. But don't just quit and sit on a beach. I get bored in 3 days, much less 6 months or a year. So maintaining meaningful work forever, I think, is really important. Do stuff you love, even if it's not lucrative. Do something you love, and you'll never regret waking up in the morning. You'll be excited to go.
I think that's one of the things that has scared people away from the word retirement are the statistics about when people pass away after retiring.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
stay
good for you.
busy.
You need purpose. You need a reason, and it doesn't have to be from money. If you don't need the money, it can be volunteering, it can be board service, it can be lots of things, but it can't just be, oh, I'm going to travel and see my grandkids. Both of those things are lovely, but you can't spend 365 doing them and feel content generally.
I appreciate that because it's easy to think about nostalgia around
Mhm.
things like that, right? But really, when it
Mhm.
comes down to it, we need something to work at, to develop that fuels our passion.
Mhm.
All right. And for you, splurge on experiences or things?
Oh, experiences, 100%. I don't need things. I don't need stuff. I'm referred to at our house as the Great Zamboni because I'm the world's greatest purger. I'm like the anti-hoarder. If we haven't used it in 6 months, we're never going to need it again. I want experiences. I want to see shows. I want to go to concerts. I want to experience life. I don't give a darn about stuff.
I am right there with you. I do the purge thing too. I would consider myself fairly a minimalist, and I love it.
Yeah, no, I don't like clutter. I really like, and not that I'm so OCD that everything has to have its place necessarily, but I don't like stuff to pile up with the, oh, I might need that 2x4 someday, so I'll leave it in the garage. Wrong, not doing it.
The I might need piles hidden in the
Oh
closet.
man,
Yes.
yes, no, hoarding to me, I don't understand this idea that, someday I'm going to want that stuffed animal again is generally not true. Keep one, don't keep 100. Just saying.
Yes, it is. It's that simplicity. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
All right. Next one is high income or low expenses.
Low expenses. I think high income creates some challenges, including high taxation, depending where you live. If you can maintain the expense side such that you can live on less, then as your income grows, it becomes real abundance and amplitude. But I think you have to control expenses first.
I love that. The reason I love that is because of Parkinson's law. That's what comes to my mind. So, Parkinson's law, when applied to money, says for every increase in income, expenses will either meet or exceed it within 4 to 6 months, unless a specific force is put against it.
I love that. This is science now. I consider it kind of like a fish will grow to the size of its environment. If you're in
Mm,
a fish bowl and then you move to an aquarium, the fish grows, and if the aquarium becomes the ocean, the fish grows more. And I think budgets can be that way. And I use the B word again on your show, but expenses. Let's go with expenses. Can be that way where if every time your lifestyle changes because of income and you spend 100% or sometimes 110% of what your raise was, you're going the wrong direction. If you know that you need to put away 15 or 20 or 25 cents every dollar you make and you do that and you continue to do that when your income goes up, you will not be on that treadmill and you'll be absolutely okay. But no, I think you control expenses first.
I love that. And for my ladies out there, it's the equivalent of when you buy a bigger purse, you find a way to fill it.
I have no comment. I have nothing to add to that. If it doesn't fit in my pockets, I'm not bringing it with me.
So you guys have it easy. Yeah, there's
You
this
don't,
thing with
and you
women
guys
where,
you never have pockets. That's part of the problem. None
and
of
if
your
we do, they're
garments have
not
pockets.
functional. We can't
Right.
fit
Well,
anything in them.
if I can, my packing list can be like 4 items and I'm good. Let's just go.
Mm,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I keep a small purse on purpose because I will fill a big one. I love
Is
it.
it also true about a wallet? A larger wallet holds more money or just receipts and credit cards?
See, now that one I wouldn't know.
No.
It's like
My
if you
wallet is
about
also
purses.
mine's also pretty minimalist. Yeah, I don't think I need just like I don't need 14 bank accounts. I don't need 14 credit cards either.
Yes, agreed. All right, well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show after having me on your show.
It's been great, and I'm not sure which one was more enjoyable. They were equal and a lot of fun, and hopefully, folks will check out both of them because I think there's a lot of synergy here, despite the argument about the number of accounts and the B word and all the things. I think there's a lot of synergy here. It's good stuff.
Yes, absolutely. You guys go on over and listen to my episode on Eric's podcast. We will also link that in the notes as soon as it's out.
Perfect.
All right, friends, if you're still hanging on after that, congrats. You've just unofficially graduated from financially avoidant to financially aware ish. Huge thanks to Eric Brotman for being the wise Yoda of finance, but without the confusing syntax. We've unpacked some serious money myths, tackled the shame monster head on, and reminded you that financial independence doesn't start at retirement. It starts the minute you decide to take that next right step. So here's your homework. Stop comparing your bank account to someone else's vacation photos. Ask your advisor how they get paid and don't accept the smoke and mirrors. And maybe, just maybe, start that retirement plan now, not 10 minutes before you turn 65. If you liked this episode, share it with someone who still thinks money is math. Hint, it's most likely emotions wearing a calculator costume. Until next time, remember, it's always and never about money. If you liked this episode, be sure to show us some love by subscribing and turning on those notifications. You can find me on Instagram under The Money Whisper, and also where we encourage you to contribute, to join the conversation, ask questions, and share your thoughts so we can create more episodes tailored exactly to what you want to know about money. I'm your host and your personal money whisperer. Until next time, remember, it is always and never about the money.
Perfect.
That
Perfect.
work?
Because I don't want to be just like the others in the herd.
No.
I'm too much of an alpha male for that, Chelsea. I'm not doing it.
Right? Well, I'm doing you a favor. I'm propping you up on a different pedestal here.
You are. Wow. I'm gonna owe you some form of riches. But yes.
Yeah, I'll be like, guys, wait for marker 10 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what you need to say. Yes.
Yeah, he said yes. I can't believe he agreed to give me his company. It's good. Weird. It's like the Grant and the ass. The Grant. Well, you can edit that out. The ant and the grasshopper, not the Grant and the asshopper. That just got said on your podcast. Yes. No,
we're gonna leave it. We can cuss.
No, please don't.
Okay.
Please don't, because I'm 7 shades of red.